In the U.S., norovirus is the most common cause of gastroenteritis, which is the inflammation of the stomach and intestines. It can be spread by having direct contact with an infected person, consuming contaminated food or water, or touching contaminated surfaces, and then putting your unwashed hands in your mouth. Now, it's currently peak season for the virus, so Ashley Moran spoke with Needham Public Health's epidemiologist, Julie McCarthy, about how we can stay healthy during this time.
What is norovirus and what are the symptoms?
Norovirus is an extremely contagious virus that causes what we typically call like the stomach flu, which is not at all related to the seasonal flu, influenza. But the symptoms usually occur about 12 hours to a couple of days after you've been exposed, and they last 1 to 3 days. It's pretty abrupt. The typical symptoms are nausea, diarrhea, vomiting, stomach pain. Occasionally, you can develop a fever.
Since it is highly contagious, how can people stop the spread of norovirus?
Most important thing to do to protect yourself from norovirus is personal hygiene. It's being really diligent about hand washing. So as with all illnesses, if you feel ill, you should stay home. Food handlers especially should stay home when they're feeling ill. But if you are ill, you don't necessarily need to isolate from other people in your household, for instance, like you would maybe with COVID, but you should not prepare food for your family. You should be extra diligent with washing your hands, and those you interact with closely, like your family members, should be washing their hands very diligently. You should stay home when you're feeling ill through at least the resolve of your symptoms, but ideally for a couple of days afterwards, because you can still be infectious.
According to the CDC, reporting states, which includes Massachusetts, are seeing an upward trend of outbreaks. What does this mean, and how does it compare to previous years?
Most typical norovirus outbreaks occur between November and about April. And right now in the United States and in Massachusetts, we're at sort of that seasonal high. So it's not atypical that February would be a time we would hit that seasonal high. As I said, there are normal sort of periodic outbreaks of norovirus. So I wouldn't say that this is abnormal. As with other diseases, we saw far fewer cases during the pandemic just because of social distancing. Everyone was really conscious about personal hygiene, and I think that's relaxed a little bit, reduced travel. So I think we're getting used to seeing some of these diseases in a regular rotation again. I also think since COVID, people are more aware of their health. People are more aware of the spread of infectious diseases. So, I think some of these normal seasonal periodic outbreaks are getting a little bit more attention because people are more aware of them. But this is pretty normal. It's pretty average for, a typical season with norovirus. Needham hasn't had any reported cases this winter season. However, it should be noted that we're only going to become aware of cases when people seek out medical care from their primary care provider, from a hospital visit. Again, it's rare to be hospitalized, but it may happen in certain populations. But most people won't seek out medical care. They will stay home, rest, relax, stay hydrated. That's really important because you may end up dehydrated if you are, vomiting multiple times a day. So if those people aren't seeking out medical attention, we're not going to be made aware of the cases. So I would say, despite the fact that I'm reporting Needham has not had any cases, it's likely that Needham has had many cases, just sort of undercover.